My times of hanging out with Michael are becoming increasingly frustrating. Sometimes I don't really mind. Like when we stopped at the stir fry place and she got a large order of food and that said, "This'll last me 2 or 3 days." Michael tends to say that every time we hang out and she gets lots of food. And she almost always eats it all, usually while I'm still there. I don't know why she does it, but I used to sort of find it frustrating because I felt like she was lying to me needlessly. I don't care if she eats all the food. It doesn't matter to me. But she insists on saying, "Oh, this is going to last me 2 or 3 days." It lasted less than 20 minutes. But I consider that pretty benign. A lot of times, when she says stuff that's not particularly true, I find it frustrating. I know part of the problem is she seems a little zombied out now on the drugs that she's on, so it's sometimes frustrating to talk to her because she just sort of spaces things.
Ooh, different scents. Fresh cotton. Plum blossom. Vanilla rose. Raspberry peach.
I think they're weird combinations personally.
Yeah.
Vanilla rose, I think, is the least irritating. But I like the smell of roses, but I also like the smell of vanilla. And I noticed when you were reading those that there's 2 scents in every one.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that. Like they were lacking confidence or something. You've now fully transitioned from unwrapping to eating.
Thank you.
The
Oh,
box
that's mine
is
too?
also for you.
Oh. Alright, open yours.
No.
I'm gonna need it.
No. People who carry knives around don't normally use them to open stuff like that. It makes them dull.
How am I supposed to open this?
You've got fingernails and it's just wrapped with packaging tape. You could literally peel the packaging tape off. By the way, that was not like a boss. Sorry, you're wearing a shirt that says like a boss and you're struggling to open tape. Like, you just have to carefully define what actually like a boss means.
Maybe it's different for me than it is for you.
That's a great argument if you're 10. If apparently like a boss means struggling to open tape, then you're rocking it. Glad I didn't use duct tape or something.
Oh my god.
You have no idea what it is, do you?
Not yet, that's what I'm wondering.
Still have no idea what it is, do you?
No.
Okay.
It looks like a keyboard.
Good guess, Sherlock. That is a Bluetooth wireless keyboard. You can use it to do stuff on your phone
Oh, on your phone?
or your tablet.
Well, I have a keyboard for my tablet, but
Oh, do you?
yeah, it attaches to the tablet.
I didn't know that.
But you can do this on your phone? Cool.
so you can join the 20th century and start sending emails.
That's cool. Thank you.
It's battery powered. I mean, rechargeable.
How do you charge it?
Standard phone up.
Okay. Is it already charged?
Yeah, I don't remember. I think it was originally charged for before Christmas.
So everything definitely took a bad turn, I would say, when Michael said something about her pseudo-boyfriend. One of the things that I find frustrating about hanging out with Michael is that she only tells you what she thinks you want to hear. And to me, that's just not the way adults act. And then the other part is she's super vague about everything if she thinks you're not going to like it. So when she talks about her boyfriend, quote unquote, it's kind of weird. She was seeing this married guy, and that stopped happening. She dropped the bomb that her family knows that he's married, and that to me is weird because that was a major concern for her for a long time. I think mostly what it is, and it's not so much that I object to her not being honest with me. I think what it is when she's talking about stuff, she leaves stuff out if she thinks that you're not going to like it. Then she tries to kind of shade everything. She says things like, oh, not that often, when you ask for a number. She just vagues up everything. And then thirdly, there's lots of things she just leaves out. The fact that her family knows that he's married is one of the things. I always have to go pick her up. I drive, she doesn't drive. And a couple Fridays ago, she mentioned coming to hang out with me. And she was driving back from Davis, which was weird because she doesn't have a car. And that's when I found out that she was still sort of hanging out with the guy who she was dating, who's still married, and whose wife hates her, and is under the impression that he's not dating her anymore. So that was a whole big deal. And when I asked about it, she said she didn't want to talk about it anymore. Her reasoning was, and I quote, "Oh, I don't want to talk about it because everything was going fine until I told you about him." And I was just flabbergasted. I remember her talking for months about how she was torn apart because she thought maybe he was lying to her, and maybe he had a girlfriend, and maybe he was doing this, and maybe he was doing that. And it turns out he not only had a girlfriend, but was married to her. Or rather, yes, he had a girlfriend, and that was you. But unbeknownst to you, he also had a wife. And yeah, there was a lot there. And I was really tempted to just leave that Starbucks and just not talk to her anymore. There's just something about that whole thing. Like when people lie and pretend about stuff and you really don't care and they don't have to. It's like they put on a big show and they're not doing it for you. They're doing it for themselves. I just find that kind of thing really frustrating. I just don't even know what to do with it. So, I got that going on. I just wanted to finally blog this. Get it over with. And yes, I really, really hate that hat. Not sure why, but I do. And I think it hates me back.